The Final Insult. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council floated in space above the green world of Kepler 442. Lights from 1,000 stars shone through the crystal walls. Representatives from 40 different species sat in their assigned seats. They talked and laughed and made deals. This was the center of power in the known galaxy. Ambassador Tai Sung walked through the main doors with his small team. He had gray hair now. 15 years of coming to this place had made him old before his time. Behind him walked Captain Jiwan, a woman with sharp eyes and a military uniform. She carried no weapons. The council did not allow humans to carry weapons. They allowed everyone else to carry weapons. Tai Sung took his place at the small platform reserved for humanity. It was the lowest platform in the room. He had to look up at everyone else. This was intentional. The council wanted humans to know their place. High Arbiter Velmon sat at the highest point. He was a tall bird-like creature with golden feathers and cold black eyes. He ran the council with an iron grip. When he raised one wing, the room became silent. "We will now hear from the human delegation," Velmon said. His voice was bored. "Again." Soft laughter moved through the chamber. Tai Sung stood straight. He had practiced this speech many times. "Distinguished members of the council, humanity has been part of the galactic community for 15 years. In that time, we have followed every rule. We have paid every fee. We have accepted every restriction placed upon us. We have proven ourselves peaceful and trustworthy." He paused. Nobody seemed interested. "We ask only for basic rights, equal trade agreements, recognition of our territorial borders, a defensive pact against the Krull Empire, who have attacked our colonies 3 times. We do not ask for special treatment. We ask only for what every other member species receives." Counselor Threx made a sound like rocks grinding together. The big reptile leaned forward. "The human asks for much. What does the human offer?" "We offer friendship," Tai Sung said. "We offer alliance. We offer our science, our culture, our—" "Your science?" Threx interrupted. He laughed. "You have been in space for barely 200 years. You still use chemical rockets and fusion drives. What could you possibly offer us?" More laughter from the chamber. Tai Sung remained calm. Jiwan's hands tightened into fists, but she said nothing. High Arbiter Velmon raised his wing again. "The council has discussed the human petition. We have a counteroffer." Hope flickered in Tai Sung's chest. After 15 years, perhaps they would finally. "Humanity may become a client species under the protection of the council," Velmon announced. "You will provide labor and resources. In exchange, we will protect you from threats and guide your development. This is a generous offer for a species that only recently left their cradle." The hope died. Client species status meant slavery. It meant humans would work in mines and factories for other species. It meant giving up their freedom, their worlds, their future. "With respect," Tai Sung said slowly, "we cannot accept client status. We ask only for equal standing. Nothing more." Velmon's black eyes showed no emotion. "You are not equal. You are primitives who stumbled into space by accident. You should be grateful we allow you to exist at all." The chamber erupted in mocking laughter. Some species made rude gestures. Others simply turned away, not even bothering to look at the humans. Something changed in Tai Sung's face. The patience that had defined him for 15 years simply vanished. He looked at Jiwan. She gave him a small nod. "I see," Tai Sung said quietly. His voice cut through the laughter. The room slowly went silent. "I understand now. After 15 years, I finally understand." Velmon tilted his head. "Understand what?" "That this was never about proving ourselves. This was never about following rules or paying fees or being peaceful. You decided what we were before we ever arrived. Nothing we did would ever change that." Know your place, human, Threx growled. Tae Sung smiled. It was not a warm smile. We came to you in peace. We offered friendship. We asked for nothing but fairness. And you laughed at us. You mocked us. You treated us like animals. He straightened his jacket. Since you see no value in peace or friendship, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council. Permanently. Silence fell over the chamber. All diplomatic relations are ended, Tae Sung continued. All communication channels will close. All human citizens will leave Council space within 30 days, and all Council species are forbidden from entering human territory. Any ship that crosses our borders will be destroyed without warning. Velmon laughed. You threaten us? With what? Your primitive ships? Your tiny fleet? Tae Sung did not answer. He simply turned and walked toward the door. Jiwon followed. Running away? Threx called out. Like the cowards you are? Jiwon stopped. She looked back at the council. We are not running away. We are leaving. There is a difference. You will learn it. She took out a small device and spoke into it. Command. This is Captain Jiwon. Diplomacy has failed. Protocol 7 is authorized. Then they were gone. The council chamber buzzed with conversation. Some species seemed worried. Most were amused. Velmon raised his wings for attention. Let the humans hide in their little corner of space, he announced. They will crawl back to us within a decade, begging for client status. Mark my words. The chamber filled with laughter and agreement. They were so busy celebrating that nobody noticed the human observation satellites going dark. Nobody noticed the communication channels closing one by one. Nobody noticed the beginning of a silence that would last for 100 years. The humans were done talking. They had other plans now. The Silent Century. The first year was quiet. The Council sent diplomatic ships to human space. None of them returned. They sent spy drones. The drones vanished without a trace. They sent messages on every frequency. Nobody answered. The humans had built a wall of silence around themselves. High Arbiter Velmon told everyone not to worry. They are throwing a tantrum, he said. Children do this. They will return when they are hungry. 10 years passed. No humans appeared. The Council stopped thinking about humanity. They had bigger problems. The Krull Empire was expanding. Trade disputes needed settling. Client species needed managing. The galaxy moved on without the strange pink creatures from the third planet of an unremarkable star. But behind the wall of silence, humanity was changing. Director Hyunwoo stood at the center of the Human Research Directorate. Screens surrounded him, showing projects from 1,000 different facilities. Weapons research, ship design, medical breakthroughs, energy systems that would have seemed like magic to the Council. Report, he said. A young scientist named Young Min stepped forward. He was thin and tired-looking. He had not slept in 3 days. Sir, we have done it. The new drive system works. We can cross the galaxy in days instead of months. Yunwoo nodded slowly. And the Council's fastest ships? Would take years to make the same journey. Good. Continue. In deep space, far from any star, Admiral Sun Hee watched her fleet grow. She was a small woman with gray streaks in her black hair. Her eyes had seen many battles. They would see many more. Shipyards hung in the darkness like metal spiders. They built warships day and night. The ships were beautiful and terrible. They looked nothing like Council vessels. They were faster, stronger, and carried weapons that the galaxy had never seen. How many now? Sun Hee asked her aide. 12,000 combat vessels, Admiral. Another 8,000 support ships, and production is increasing. It is not enough, Sun Hee said. Double it, triple it. When we return, I want no doubt about what will happen if they resist. The aide hesitated. Admiral, some people ask why we need such a large fleet. We could defeat the Council with a fraction of this force. Sun He turned to face him. "We are not building a fleet for war. We are building a fleet so large and so powerful that war becomes impossible. I want them to look at what we have created and understand that fighting is pointless. That is how we save lives, both theirs and ours." The years continued to pass. Human scientists extended the human lifespan. People who would have died at 80 now lived past 200. Ambassador Tae Sung, who had walked out of the council chamber, was still alive, still waiting, still remembering the laughter. Human society unified. Old nations and old hatreds faded away. Everyone worked toward the same goal. Every child learned the same lesson. Never again would humanity beg for scraps from alien tables. Never again would humans be mocked and dismissed. 50 years after the withdrawal, a low-level council functionary named Crixith was assigned to monitor the border of human space. It was a punishment posting. Nobody wanted it. Nothing ever happened there. Crixith sat at his station, bored and bitter. His sensors showed the usual nothing. Empty space. Dead silence. The humans were probably extinct by now. Everyone said so, but sometimes late at night, Crixith noticed strange things. Energy signatures that appeared and vanished too quickly to track. Shadows that moved against the stars. Signals in frequencies that his equipment could not decode. He wrote reports about these observations. His superiors ignored them. "Sensor glitches," they said. "Old equipment." Crixith was not so sure. He stared into the darkness of human space and felt something staring back. 75 years after the withdrawal, the Galactic Council held a celebration. It was the anniversary of some ancient treaty. Delegates from every major species gathered to drink and boast and make deals. Councillor Threx, old now but still powerful, raised his glass. "To the galaxy," he said. "May it remain forever under Council guidance, and may we never again waste time on primitive species who cannot appreciate our generosity." Everyone laughed and agreed. Someone made a joke about humans. Where were they now? Dead, probably, starved in their little corner of space. Good riddance. The party continued late into the night. Nobody noticed the small ship that passed through council space during the celebration. It was moving too fast for their sensors to track. It mapped their defenses, counted their ships, and measured their technology. Then it returned to human space with its report. Admiral Sun He read the report carefully. She smiled. It was not a kind smile. 100 years, she said to her officers. 100 years of silence. 100 years of preparation. And they have done nothing. Their technology has not advanced. Their defenses are weak. They are exactly where we left them. She stood and looked out at her fleet. 22,000 warships filled the space around her. Each one was a weapon of unimaginable power. Each one was crewed by humans who remembered the insults, the mockery, the dismissal. "Send word to the President," Sun He ordered. "Tell her that we are ready. The silent century is over. It is time for humanity to return." Far away in the council chamber, the party finally ended. The delegates went home to their comfortable lives. They had no idea that their world was about to change forever. The humans were coming back, and they were no longer asking for permission. The revelation, Mi Sun, was a simple freighter captain. She hauled cargo between mining stations in the Regulus sector. It was boring work, but it paid well. She had a small ship, a smaller crew, and no interest in galactic politics. That changed on a Tuesday. She was passing through the outer edge of the sector when her sensors detected weapons fire. 2 fleets were fighting near the border of old human space. The Council and the Krull Empire were arguing about territory again. Mi Sun changed course immediately. Getting caught between those 2 powers meant death. But she was not fast enough. A group of Krull warships broke away from the main battle. They spotted Mi Sun's freighter and decided she looked like an easy target. Or maybe they just wanted to kill something. The Krull were like that. Mi-sun pushed her engines as hard as they could go. It was not enough. The Krull ships were gaining. She could see them on her screen, getting closer and closer. Then the Krull stopped chasing her. Their ships turned toward something else. Mi-sun checked her sensors and saw what had caught their attention. A small station floated near the border of human space. It looked old and abandoned. The Krull must have decided it was an easy target for looting. Mi-sun should have run. She should have used this chance to escape. Instead, she watched. Something felt wrong. The Krull battle group moved toward the station. 23 ships in total. Heavy cruisers and destroyers. Enough firepower to crack a small moon. The station did not move. It did not broadcast any signals. It just sat there. The Krull commander gave the order to fire. Before a single shot could be launched, 3 ships appeared. Mi-sun had never seen anything like them. They were human ships, but they looked nothing like the old designs from a century ago. These were sleek and dark and moved with impossible grace. They seemed to bend space around themselves. Fleet Commander Jae-hoon sat in the command chair of the lead vessel. He was calm and professional. His tactical officer, a woman named Hae-rin, was already analyzing the Krull formation. 23 enemy vessels, Hae-rin reported. Standard Krull armament. They are targeting the research station. Jae-hoon nodded. Disable them. No kills. Understood. The 3 human ships moved. Mi-sun watched from her freighter. Her mouth hung open. She could not believe what she was seeing. The human ships were everywhere at once. They moved so fast that her sensors could barely track them. Blue beams of light shot from their weapons. Every beam hit perfectly. Engines exploded. Weapons systems went dark. Shield generators failed. The Krull fired back. Their shots hit nothing. The human ships dodged everything. In 4 minutes it was over. 23 Krull warships floated dead in space. Their hulls were intact. Their crews were alive. But every system that could move or fight had been destroyed. They were helpless. Mi-sun realized she had stopped breathing. She forced herself to take a breath. One of the human ships turned toward her freighter. She felt a moment of terror, but the ship did not fire. Instead, it broadcast a message. "Civilian vessel," a female voice said. It was Hae-rin. "You are safe. Leave this area and tell others what you have seen. Human space is not yours to violate. This is our only warning." Then the 3 ships returned to the border and vanished. Mi-sun sat in her chair for a long time. Her hands were shaking. Finally, she turned her ship toward the nearest council station. She had a story to tell. Within days, her account spread across the galaxy. At first, nobody believed her. Humans? Defeating a Krull battle group? With only 3 ships? Impossible. But then other witnesses came forward. The Krull survivors confirmed everything. They described weapons they had never seen before, speeds that should not be possible, technology that made their own ships look like toys. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. High Arbiter Velmon, now very old, demanded answers. Where had the humans been? What had they been doing? How had they developed such technology? "This is clearly an exaggeration," Counselor Threx insisted. He was old too, but still refused to believe. "Humans are primitives. They cannot have surpassed us." "Then explain the Krull battle group," another counselor said. "Propaganda, lies. The humans got lucky." Velmon made a decision. He would send a fleet to human space, a proper fleet. 200 ships under the command of Admiral Vorath. They would remind the humans of their place in the galaxy. Admiral Vorath was confident as his fleet crossed the border. He had fought many battles. He had never lost. These humans would learn respect. His fleet traveled for 3 days. They saw nothing. No stations, no planets, no defenses. Vorath began to wonder if the humans had already fled. Then 5 ships appeared in front of his fleet, 5 human ships against 200 Council warships. Vorath laughed. This would be easy. "All ships," he commanded. "Open fire." 200 ships fired at once. They hit nothing. The human ships moved through the wall of weapons fire like ghosts. Then they returned fire. The battle lasted 30 seconds. When it ended, Vorath's flagship was the only ship still functioning. And it was not functioning because the humans had missed. It was functioning because they wanted it to function. They had captured it. Human soldiers boarded his ship. They were professional and calm. They did not hurt anyone. They simply took control. A human officer approached Vorath. He had a kind face but cold eyes. "Admiral," the officer said, "your fleet is disabled. Your crews are unharmed. We are releasing you now. Go back to your council and deliver this message." "What message?" Vorath whispered. "Tell them we remember. Tell them we chose mercy today. Tell them not to make us choose otherwise." Then they let him go. Vorath returned to the council alone. His 200 ships remained behind, floating helplessly in space. The humans did not destroy them. They did not need to. The message was clear. Humanity was back. And they were stronger than anyone had ever imagined. The Council's panic Admiral Vorath stood before the Galactic Council. His uniform was torn. His hands trembled. He looked like a man who had seen a ghost. "Tell us exactly what happened," High Arbiter Velmon demanded. His voice was not as strong as it used to be. Age had weakened him. So had fear. Vorath described the battle, the impossible speed of the human ships, the weapons that cut through shields like they were not there, the precision that disabled 200 vessels without killing a single person. 30 seconds, Vorath said. The entire battle lasted 30 seconds. They were playing with us. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted at each other. Some demanded immediate war. Others demanded immediate surrender. Nobody knew what to do. Security Chief Bo-Ra stepped forward. She was a small creature with 4 eyes and a brilliant mind. She had spent weeks analyzing every piece of information about the human encounter. "May I speak?" she asked. Velmon nodded. Bo-Ra activated a holographic display. Numbers and images filled the air. "Based on our analysis, human technology has advanced far beyond anything we imagined. Their ships are approximately 500 to 1,000 years ahead of our standard." Silence fell over the chamber. "Their weapons penetrate all known shield types," Bo-Ra continued. "Their drives allow faster travel than we believed possible. Their sensors detected our fleet before we detected them, and this is only what we have observed. Their full capabilities remain unknown." "How many ships do they have?" Threx demanded. "Unknown. Our estimates range from 10,000 to over 50,000 combat vessels. We cannot confirm because we cannot see past their borders." "This is impossible," Threx said. 100 years ago, they had nothing. How could they advance so far? Bo-Ra did not answer. She did not need to. Everyone in the chamber knew the answer. While the council had been celebrating and growing comfortable, humanity had been working. While the council had been exploiting client species and fighting small wars, humanity had been building. While the council had been laughing at the primitives who had walked away, those primitives had been preparing for this moment. Velmon felt something he had not felt in centuries. Fear, real fear, the kind that makes you understand that you might not survive. "We must negotiate," he said, his voice cracked. "Send a message to the humans. Tell them we wish to talk. Tell them we apologize for past mistakes. Tell them anything they want to hear." The message was sent. For 3 days, there was no reply. The galaxy held its breath. Then a single human ship appeared at the edge of council space. It carried a delegation. Counselor Nam-Il was young for a diplomat. He had been born after the withdrawal. He had never known a time when humanity bowed to anyone. He walked into the council chamber like he owned it. Behind him walked Dong-Hyun, a tall man with no expression on his face. He was an envoy from the military. His presence reminded everyone that the human fleet was still out there, waiting. Nam-il took the speaking platform, the same low platform where Ambassador Tae-sung had stood a century ago. But Nam-il did not look up at the council. He looked straight ahead, as if they were all equals. "High Arbiter Velmon," Nam-il said, "the people of Earth have received your message. They have decided to respond." "We are grateful," Velmon said quickly. "Please, tell us what you need. What can we offer to repair our relationship?" Nam-il smiled. It was not a warm smile. "You misunderstand. We are not here to ask for anything. We are here to deliver our terms." He held up a data pad and began to read. First, humanity claims 40 star systems currently listed as disputed territory. These systems will become part of human space immediately. Second, all species currently under client status will be offered independence. Those who accept will receive human protection if they desire it. Third, the council power structure will be reformed. No species will hold permanent authority. Decisions will be made by equal vote. Fourth, the council will provide technology transfers to humanity as reparation for 100 years of disrespect and exclusion. The chamber exploded with angry voices. Delegates shouted insults. Some called Nam-il names. Threx rose from his seat, his old body shaking with rage. "You dare make demands of us?" Threx shouted. "You are nothing. You are primitives. We should have destroyed you when we had the chance." Nam-il waited for the noise to die down. Then he spoke calmly. "Councillor Threx, your opinion is noted, but it is not relevant." He turned to Velmon. "These terms are not negotiable. You have one standard day to accept them." "And if we refuse?" Velmon asked. Dong-hyun stepped forward. His voice was flat and cold. "If you refuse, General Insu has orders to proceed with Operation Liberation. Every client species will be freed by force. Every council world will be occupied. Your governments will be dissolved and rebuilt. The process will not be gentle." "You cannot threaten us," Threx spat. "We have fleets. We have allies. We will fight." Dong-hyun looked at him with something like pity. "Your fleets are surrounded. They have been surrounded for weeks. You did not even notice." He activated a holographic display. It showed every major council system. Around each system, human warships waited, thousands of them. They had been there for weeks, invisible and patient. The council had not detected a single one. Velmon looked at the display. His golden feathers seemed to turn gray before everyone's eyes. He understood now. There would be no negotiation. There would be no fighting. There would only be submission or destruction. "How long do we have?" he asked quietly. "One standard day," Nam-il repeated. "Use the time wisely." Then the humans left. The council spent the night arguing. Some wanted to fight anyway. Some wanted to run. But in the end, they all reached the same conclusion. There was no choice. There had never been a choice. When morning came, the Galactic Council accepted every term. The old order was over, a new age was beginning, and humanity was no longer asking for a seat at the table. They had built their own table. They were simply allowing the Council to sit at it. The new reality. 10 years had passed since the Council's surrender. The galaxy was a different place now. Velmon sat in a small garden on his homeworld. He was very old. His golden feathers had turned silver. His wings could no longer lift him into the air, but his mind was still sharp enough to remember his mistakes. A young aide approached him. "Sir, you have a visitor." Velmon looked up. A human was walking toward him. The human was older, with gray hair and kind eyes. He wore a simple suit with no military decorations. "President Kyung-soo," Velmon said. He started to rise. "Please, stay seated." Kyung-soo sat down on a bench across from him. "I hope you are well." "As well as can be expected." Velmon studied the human leader. "Why are you here? Surely you have more important things to do than visit a forgotten old bird." I wanted to see you, Kyung-soo said simply. I have read much about you, about the old days. I wanted to understand. Understand what? Why you treated us the way you did. Velmon was quiet for a long time. Around them, alien flowers bloomed in colors that had no names in human languages. Small creatures sang in the branches overhead. I was afraid, Velmon finally said. Not of you, of change. The council had ruled for 10,000 years. We had a system. We knew how things worked. Then you appeared, young, eager, full of strange ideas about equality and fairness. You threatened everything we had built. So you tried to keep us down. Yes. We thought if we treated you badly enough, you would accept your place, or you would destroy yourselves trying to fight us. Either way, the problem would be solved. Kyung-soo nodded slowly. Instead, we went away and became stronger. Much stronger. Velmon made a sound that might have been a laugh. We created the very thing we feared. If we had simply treated you fairly, you would have been our friends, our allies. Instead, we made you into something else. They sat in silence for a while. The garden was peaceful. It was hard to believe that such terrible history had happened. I have a question, Velmon said. It has kept me awake for 10 years. May I ask it? Of course. Why did you not destroy us? You had every right. After what we did, after how we treated you, you could have burned our worlds and killed our people. Nobody would have blamed you. Why did you choose mercy? Kyung-soo considered the question carefully. When he spoke, his voice was soft. Because we meant what we said, 100 years ago. Ambassador Tae-sung walked into the council chamber and offered peace and friendship. You laughed at him. You mocked him. You sent him away. But his offer was sincere. We truly wanted to be your friends. And after everything we did, that did not change who we are. We are humans. We make war when we must. We fight when we are threatened. But we do not seek destruction. We do not enjoy suffering. When we had the power to crush you, we chose not to use it, because that is who we are. Velmon closed his eyes. I thought you were weak because you offered peace. I did not understand. Understand what? That offering peace from a position of strength is the hardest choice of all. Any fool can choose violence when they have power. It takes real strength to choose mercy. Kyung-soo smiled. That is exactly what Ambassador Tae-sung taught us. Is he still alive? The old ambassador? He is, 150 years old now. He teaches young diplomats at our academy. He tells them to never stop offering peace, but also to never negotiate from weakness. Velmon opened his eyes. They were wet. I would like to apologize to him, if he would accept it. I think he would. He never hated you, you know. He was disappointed, sad, but never hateful. On the other side of the galaxy, the new order continued to grow. Ambassador Su-min led the reformed diplomatic corps. She was a young woman with a warm smile and a firm handshake. She had established new rules for galactic relations. No species would ever be dismissed or mocked again. Every voice would be heard. Every species would have dignity. 17 client species had accepted independence. 12 of them had chosen to ally with humanity. The others had gone their own way, which was their right. The old system of exploitation was dying. Something better was growing in its place. On a green world far from Earth, a young man named Jun-ho was helping to build a new colony. He worked beside aliens who had once been slaves of the council. They laughed together. They ate together. They built homes together. Is it true, one of his alien friends asked, that your people once begged the council for acceptance? Jun-ho smiled. It is true, and they laughed at us. What happened then? We stopped begging. We started building. And when we came back, we were not asking any more. His friend made a sound of wonder. Your people are strange. You were treated badly. But you did not become cruel. Why? Junho thought about it. Because cruelty would have made us like them. We wanted to be better, not just stronger. Better. Far away, at the edge of known space, a human exploration ship detected something interesting. A young species had just launched their first faster-than-light craft. They were taking their first steps into the galaxy. The human captain looked at her crew. She thought about everything humanity had experienced. The rejection, the mockery, the long silence, the return, the mercy. "Helm," she said. "Take us toward them, slowly. We do not want to scare them." "What are we going to do?" her first officer asked. The captain smiled. "We are going to do what should have been done for us. We are going to approach with open hands and open hearts. We are going to offer friendship. And if they reject us, then we will leave peacefully and try again later, because that is who we are." The ship moved forward into the unknown, carrying with it the hope of a better galaxy. Back on Earth, in a quiet classroom, Ambassador Tae-sung stood before his students. He was very old now. His movements were slow, but his voice was still clear. "Remember this lesson," he told them. "Never stop offering peace. Never stop extending your hand in friendship. But also, never forget. We do not offer peace because we are weak. We offer peace because we are strong enough to choose it." He paused. His eyes were distant, remembering the laughter in that council chamber so long ago. "They laughed at us once. They mocked us. They sent us away. But we did not change who we were because of their response. We stayed true to our values. And in the end, that made all the difference." The students listened in silence. They were the future of humanity. They would carry this lesson forward into the stars. Outside, the sun was setting on Earth. The same sun that had watched humanity crawl out of caves and reach for the heavens. The same sun that would watch them continue growing, continue reaching, continue offering peace to a galaxy that had once rejected them. Humanity had been mocked. Humanity had been dismissed. Humanity had been told they would never amount to anything. Now they led the galaxy, and they did it with mercy.